the COVID-19 pandemic has influenced the behavior of all markets, and when we want to have a talk, it strongly influenced even the behavior of customers and consumers as it is. Consumers, companies, employees, employers, government or institutions, all of them have changed the behavior, it really can be named that it's the change of a customer itself. So often we are comparing sometimes the global financial crisis with something groundbreaking, and then it can be also associated with some uncertainties. And these uncertainties can change the viewing of common people, of consumers into it. So this strong change and the way of communication was also influenced. And the crucial changes appeared in this time. So what was all sudden found out of all that good times were over? Maybe, but what was the reason why? So we can try to find out much more. And we didn't find out firsthand, but some people tried to learn something from the media, as the media seemed to be in crisis as well. But why? There appeared some catastrophic scenarios often at the front pages of print media. And this was something what was influencing strongly the people and their behavior. Under the pressure of this information from media, the consumers started to behave totally different ways. So they tried to spend less, and advertisers has nothing to invest in advertising. When we talk about individual customers' behavior and after the financial crisis, we can find some interesting facts. Customers again started to think more of what to buy, what they were buying before. They wanted to serve and wanted to be served much better. And for example, they became more careful during doing shopping. Customers were better informed and wanted to be better informed. Customers were more aware of money power. Customers started also forming some better judgments, or they made more rational decisions. And customers as well as had less time for doing shopping. So when we see COVID-19 period and pandemic as it is in many areas can be also found parallel. This period when consumers have become accustomed to shopping in stock because it was not clear when another lockdown appears. And what were they shopping for? Mostly for food and disinfectants. And this could come and bring us to new growth of totally different type of companies, e-commerce companies. So we try to find out more that's about, and the group and live panel from August 2020 and December 2020 focused on the behavior of individual generations during the pandemic. So we try to have a look into these individual generations and their behavior. Let's have a look what was bothering individual generations. So we are going to talk about 4 generations: Z, Y, X, and baby boomers. The orange part is showing us what was connected with all generations. Very often it was connected with health, their own health, the health of their nearest, income and finance, and spreading of the virus. Here is difference because in August 2020 it looked a bit different, but in December 2020 it was also in larger scope. Generation Z, so here and here, in the first wave were more afraid concerns the places with a large number of people, for example, such as cinemas, theaters, some sport events, and it really achieved 31% whole amount. And this fear is understandable, as generation that is made up of young people who like to have fun, enjoy life, or seek for a company of their peers. Other concerns included also something connected with their travel safety. And here, this travel safety appeared in 31%, and the counting spread of the virus in their meaning was expected or was expressed by 55%. Later, only concerns about some maybe road safety or later also remained the original concerns, and some previous ones were replaced, connected mainly with climate change. And again, this safety appears, but also there appears a situation with this global economy. Further, we can move to Generation Y. Generation Y, basically, here we are, move on. Okay. So, Generation Y, which includes the largest part of the current economically active population, was most concerned about the global economy. And these in August reached 24%, but their future stability or employment prospects achieved 46%. At the end of 2020, attitudes towards the global economy didn't change. It still was kept at about 20%, but the travel safety moved only to 15%. And concerning the finance and income, it becomes still further concerns, and the amount or percentage achieved 47%. Let's move to Generation X, so the violet part. People of this generation were concerned mainly about income and financial situation in mid-2022 achieved almost 52%. And also future job stability was very important then, and it achieved 43%. At the end of the year, where we are here, so it's here, most important for all of them were health, and it was really very, very important for all of them. Health and health of their own and health of their loved ones, and there appeared 59% in all. And the last generation compared in the survey is the baby boomers generation. Baby boomers generation, the green one in both, during the last August, it was with this generation was most concerned about political some turmoils on riots, and these political turmoils or riots achieved 27%. Issues concerning national economy achieved almost 41%, and the discrimination and social inequality achieved almost 26%. But when we moved to the end of the year, this generation was much more concerned about continuing virus and its spreading further, and it achieved almost 54%, as well as their own health and health of their beloved ones, which achieved almost 61%. So when you have a look at it, of course, situation during 2021 was also different, but trying to have a look even in short period of time, it was trying really to be changed quite a lot, and it's quite visible. Changes appeared also connected with customers' behavior, and customers' behavior at the area of social media and their consumption. The pandemic has also brought changes in the use of social networks. Facebook became an information medium in which some sought some alternative information and opinion compared to the mainstream media. TikTok network, which was originally or until then had only been considered entertainment for teenagers, has seen significant growth. And this may also be due to the negative atmosphere in the society and the need of people to disperse from the information provided by the media. Until recently, it was considered an application with very bizarre short videos for teenagers and maybe an uncertain future. But today, the situation became totally different, and TikTok is here, has a stable position, and most importantly, it reaches the fastest growth among non-game applications in the world. This is given by the source Sensor Tower of 2020. So it basically recorded the most significant growth during the first wave of coronavirus pandemic, and when the number of installations grew at a rocket pace. So TikTok, along with other social networks, our messaging applications and over-the-top services such as networks has become the lockdown-friendly applications. Let's have a look into the Sensor Tower statistics referring to the downloads made through Google Play and the iOS App Store. I have to mention that the third-party Android download statistics are not included listening. So here you can see the development of downloads through this. So you can see strong change from the fourth quarter of 2017 up till fourth quarter of 2018. Then there was a slight decrease, again slightly started increasing, but the highest peak was really found in first quarter of 2020. Then it started to cease once again. Further changes also appeared in the area of retail and retail businesses. What does it mean? Various forms of lockdowns were often associated with closure of the shops, and that brought a significant change in the behavior of consumers and retailers. Many of those who were focused on selling in brick-and-mortar stores began to build and develop their e-shops. On the other hand, it was assumed that after opening the shops, there was still some people feel the so-called abstinence of consumers from offline shopping. And at the same time, we mustn't forget that we also have types of consumers who considered spending time in shopping malls to be meaningful leisure time. Therefore, even after opening the stores, many brands are not considering closing their e-shops, but on the contrary, they are aware of the importance of their businesses running in both online and offline environments, which is very closely related to the changed consumer behavior. The consumer basket also of Slovaks has also changed. When we try to have a look maybe closer what was connected with the year 2020 and what was seen by the traders, so there exists, for example, some drop in sales of chewing gums, or because it was presumed that the reason was wearing of masks and respirators. Then probably due to significant reduction of socializing, visits, friends, celebrations, there appeared also significant decline in sales of desserts and candy boxes connected with cereal bars, energy drinks, or leisure snacks. The sales of them also fell due to the long-lasting lockdowns and lower frequency of some sporting activities. Situation also changed in the area of automotive industry, but the situation changed even earlier. And maybe what only can be seen here is interesting that the change first, financial crisis appeared basically and influenced this industry in the years 2008, 2009. During that time, buying a car was a big investment, and in times of crisis, consumers have saved rather than invested. So it was also the situation in the USA, where sales of new cars were steadily declining, especially in the year 2009. And in this situation, sellers were competing in promotions and discounts. What happened, for example, with Hyundai? Hyundai conducted research that found that people didn't buy cars due to the fear of losing their jobs. What Hyundai did for this? Therefore, they are trying to implement a campaign in which they're offered that employee or anyone who buys Hyundai and loses their job within the year of concluding the contract can withdraw from this contract and return the car back. Interesting was then the result that was that while overall US sales of new cars fell by 37% in the first 4 months of 2009, Hyundai fell by only 3.6%. However, their market share increased from 2.8 to 4.3 compared to the same period of the previous year, and out of 60,000 cars sold during that time, only 10 were returned. This was the situation that was showing the example how is it important to change communication also for later. Communication clearly was changed also with Slovak banks. Slovak banks started to communicate in totally different way. During the first wave of pandemic, for example, the communication of Slovak banks, which no longer spoke primarily about their offer, but was dominated by the topic of security and the offer of online services or solidarity with their customers. It can be seen from VUB Bank, for example, don't go anywhere, we can help you in distance, or have a good time all the time, so it's one of them. Or second, we guarantee the accounts free of charge, and 1 million euro we pay to fight with COVID. And again, hashtag, we do it together, we can do, or we can work with it. Further, we can also have a look into situation in 2001 when consumers, again, we tried to conduct an online survey at a sample of 1,644 respondents. And we were trying to find out the preferences of Slovak consumers in relation to travel and the use of tourism services. One of the questions of the survey was focused on the area of the pandemic and thus how the COVID situation will affect the travel behavior of the respondents. More than 62% of respondents stated that they will definitely or they will spend holidays in Slovakia, and almost 25% of them, due to the pandemic situation, said that it will not affect their travel habits. Just to conclude, COVID-19 pandemic had strongly influenced the behavior of all market components. and often is compared with global financial crisis as something that is groundbreaking, associated with great uncertainty. Various forms of lockdowns, which can be related also with the closure of shops, brought significant change in the behavior of consumers, but we have to mention also of retailers. Many of those who were selling in brick and mortar stores began to build and develop their e-shops. On the other hand, what was also assumed, the shops reopening wouldn't felt the abstinence of consumers from offline shopping. At the same time, what must not be forgotten, exist the types of consumers who consider spending the time in shopping malls their meaningful leisure time activity, and therefore, after the shops opening, many brands haven't considered of closing their e-shops. On the contrary, they really were aware and important was for them to run both of the businesses online and offline. So online and offline environment became their friend, what is closely related to the change behavior of customers. The pandemic also brought changes in social networks area, connected with Facebook, which became an information medium, where users were looking for the alternative information and options and opinions compared to the mainstream media. TikTok network gained a significant growth, which until then was considered the entertainment platform for teenagers. And all of that may be the result of negative atmosphere in the society, and also the need of people to entertain from the information. Change in communication, again, was connected with pandemic spells, and it was also connected with advertising of Slovak banks, and not only was spoken about some other force. But maybe these changes again proceed. And we can try to find out more information also for some next time. And this is the end from my side. Thank you very much for your attention.